Welcome back, everybody. The CC community, Crypto Consciousness in the house. David at your service. Now, guys, you know I do this for free, so just do me one little favor, hit like on the video. Just even if you don't like it, just hit like, because you know that's the only thing that sort of makes YouTube say, all right, well, his video is probably worthy to share with other people in the crypto community. We're here in Australia. We probably have a smaller community than US and a lot of other countries, so it does help to encourage other people to watch it. Now, guys, one thing, I want to get straight into this. So I've got a lot of things to talk about. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is a great opportunity that is almost ready to go live. It is something I did a video on many months ago at the start of the year when I started the channel. It's called the Pi Network. There's a lot of replicas of this and scams out there, so don't buy into any of them. What I recommend you do is you go to minepi.com and you watch this little video here. But basically, you can only get this app if you've got a referral code, which means they're trying to build a network. It's done by PhDs from Stanford University, and they're trying to make a currency for the world. So it's got a good story behind it. It's noble and everything. It's got a tokenomics and all that. It's at the moment you can only mine it, you can't buy it, but it's almost ready to go onto market. Currently, the price is at 44 cents. Now you can earn that for free by mining it, and all you do is you download the app, you put in your referral network person, which will be CryptoConsciousness. Make sure you spell that right. Where were we? Just spell it like this on the YouTube, CryptoConsciousness. I don't think there's a space. No, there won't be a space. And then that'll connect you up to the mining app, and all you have to do is click in it every day. You just basically, it highlights a circle for you when you've run out of time. You click it and it starts for 24 hours. It'll start earning and mining. I wouldn't call it mining, but that's what they call it. But you're really just earning. It's like a clock ticking on that app. And then once you need to click it, the next day you might put a alarm on your phone to check in with that. And then you click it again, and it basically just pops up on your screen as a notification to just check in with it. And what that does, that starts I think it's over, they're trying to get 100 million people connected at the moment. There's 23 million. So now all it takes is a 4x from here. Everybody tells 4 other people the network's going to grow much quicker. And once they hit the 100 million, then they're going to pretty much cut off any ability to mine it. Then you have to buy it. So just a small opportunity, up to you to try it. I've been earning it. I'm happy when this goes live. I'll actually have some free money, which is cool. And then there'll be opportunity to obviously use it in the real world as a form of currency. So if that's what they call it, I'm not sure. But again, just check everything on their website. They explain it much better. So that was one quick little opportunity. Now, the market's been going hot. There's been some awesome opportunities, big returns happening from 100 to 400 percenters. If you have a look at today's pricing, there is some green and some red. Most importantly, Bitcoin's growing a little bit, but it hasn't exploded, which is really important, because what that does is that helps bring money towards the altcoins. And so when you're looking, Ethereum's even sort of paused a little bit after a while. A few days it's been in pause mode. Cardano's been in pause mode, which has been great because they've been pumping. We've had an Ethereum pump. We had actually it was Cardano first, then it was Ethereum, then Bitcoin woke up a little, and then these other coins, obviously Solana's been going ballistic. And if you watch my last video, you would see that I talked about Solana, Phantom, Veracity, and all of those have definitely performed really, really well. I'll go into what I'm buying and what prices I'm looking at. I'll also talk to you about these projects and why I wouldn't be buying in on some of them. At the moment, we can just have a look here. Bitcoin has, if it wants to load, yep. So Bitcoin is still pushing up, and that's good. It's not going too crazy, but it's pushing up, and it's above the 200-day moving average. For those who don't know anything about that, it's in a good position, basically. Let's have a look. Solana, real quickly. Like I said at the last video, I said it will probably go up to 90 bucks. I think we're around the $70 mark because we were hitting a previous top. It pushed through that. It pulled back. I think, what did we do? Solana. Yeah, no, we sat with that at that point, but we were watching for a retracement, and then it pushed through. So at this point here, it seemed very parabolic, but what we didn't realize is there was a lot of volume about to come into the space. And so from here to there it's a 2x. So, I think I sold out at about 177, where that red candle is. And you would have seen a big retracement. And if that fulfilled a little bit more, would have been a much healthier pullback. but it hasn't. It's just kept going up. So sometimes we're wrong, and I couldn't pick it. I wasn't trying to pick the top, but I was definitely trying to prepare myself. So I guess should have just bought back in there once you've sold out at your 177, you know, and it's a really strong uptrend. Pulling back to about 150 would have been a reasonable point, and then it just went up again to 200, pull back only a little bit, maybe $15 at a time. So you know that this is a really strong bull run up, and we're already at 220, or went to 237 based on this, but well, that's where it's at now, sorry. And the refreshment, if I refresh it, that price will update. So that's not an updated price. Market cap $63 billion, Solana. It's, you know, everyone's talking about it in the financial world. They're moving into it thinking it's the next Ethereum. If we look at Ethereum, you'll see Ethereum did a massive explosion in 2017. It just kept going, eventually a massive pullback. Now what I'm suggesting here, when this thing decides to stop going to the moon, I'm suggesting a nice little healthy correction back down, maybe to 150. A really good pullback would be about 140. Reason I say that is on the medium line here, if we create just a bit of a balanced uptrend, you'd be going to about 140, 150. But it's a strong bull market, so you might be lucky to get in at 180 from this point, which sucks because, you know, you don't know if you're buying a top at that point. So you can FOMO into it, but what's the point? Things are just climbing up. The RSI, actually one thing I do note is that the RSI is bearish. There should be it's a bearish divergence that's coming up. If you have a look here where my cross is, that was one top just there. And that's one top there in the RSI, which peaked out about 90. And then it kept going up. And look where we are on the RSI, went to 88 and it was still higher. So generally when you see this, when the price action is going up and the RSI is going down, there's just generally a correction required and a bearish divergence, which means it should just come down for a bit. That's why I'm suggesting any day now, if this thing doesn't go ballistic any further, we should see a healthy pullback, and that's where you could look at buying in. I do personally, my professional investing opinion is Solana is definitely a buy. Then Phantom, indeed. Phantom again, parabolic. There's almost a cup and handle here. There is a cup and handle here. Did we have one in Solana? Not really. Phantom, I've noticed cup and handle is also a pattern that's popping up everywhere at the moment. We do have Phantom, same thing, a little bit bearish divergence, very slightly. Once we see a red candle, we should see that being a divergence. But the only thing is, if it keeps going up as well as the price, then it's not going to be, it'll take out the previous top, which is not very far behind where it's at right now. It's literally, see, we're at 86 and 87 is the previous top on the RSI. You can see back here, if we just look left, history shows us that once, if I can just pull back the price, the RSI down, get the pricing bigger. All right, so when you see a previous top, this was the previous top here, and then the next one with the price action went up higher, but in the RSI it was lower. So we saw an immediate pullback. And if you look at that recovery percentage, it'll give us an idea of what it may do again. Okay, computer's working pretty hard at the moment. It's not giving me what I'm after, which is a ruler. Okay, forget it then. So yeah, you've got the divergence, and then it had a really healthy pullback, and then it continued up and a big pullback. But you can, again, the top on the RSI was much lower than the price action, so there's still bearish divergence when it went down further. Now we've taken out the previous top, so I'd like to have seen a higher RSI reading, but we haven't. But it also does show that divergence there. So keep an eye out for Phantom. I'm looking at about a 142 pullback. Okay, here we go. The computer wants to work now. We're seeing about a 142 pullback. That's my first point. I'd like to see a pullback. Otherwise, a retest of previous top at 126. Let's call it 128 just to be on the safe side. So if you go into your CoinSpot accounts and put in a buy limit order, that's the best way to operate. So you don't have to sit there watching the charts, because you will miss out sometimes if you don't put in your buy order. Previous top's always a good point to look for a retracement. But being such a strong, healthy market, a lot of volume coming in, we may not see the 128 mark. And if it goes any further down, then something's changed in the wind. But clearly, we do need to see a recorrection there. Another one that's pumping today is FTX token. Sorry, the acronym is FTT. This is an exchange, and it's a massive derivatives exchange, and also cryptos, and so many things involved with this. But just to keep it simple, I'm seeing a cup and handle. Let's change that to the cross. So I'm seeing a cup and handle here. I've drawn that in there. And then a takeoff. These yellow lines are a measurement of what happens with a cup and handle. So that's 100% of the move. I've duplicated that. And the price I'm aiming for is a 128 price to sell off. Whether it be half my position or the full position, 128, or go a little bit lower, 126. But that's the target point. Now that it's exploded and passed the previous top, came back to retest the top. You can see here in the price action, just here, that was the previous top, came back to up, pulled back like I was saying with Solana, but we didn't see much of a pullback. It just kept going. So the big boys are buying this, and this could continue up to 128 and beyond, but this is just a minimal target. So as a pullback, the previous top, so we'll call it 84 just to be on the safe side. If we do see a pullback, great, but highly unlikely at this stage based on the price action, but it still would be anywhere around 94 would be a healthy pullback and a continuation. Reason this is taking off at the moment and a lot of money flooding into it is this news here. Crypto exchange FTX launches NFT marketplace. As we know, NFTs have been exploding the last 6 weeks. Big money's been made there. You know, we're talking 10x's, 30x's. If you haven't got into NFTs, then I would be looking at Superfarm. Superfarm is a great project run by Elio. His project came out, well, this is only when it launched on CoinSpot, this price action, but he launched out, I think it was about $2, which was $1.40 US, 120 when I was in the ICO. And then that just climbed and climbed and climbed to about $7 Aussie. And then it launched on CoinSpot, and at that point it was a bad time and it crashed down. This is a massive recorrection. This is below the ICO price. So it's worth buying in because you've got this nice round bottom. Do we see a rounding? So we see a rounding bottom. We see a bit of a cup and handle forming here, which is great. It's retesting the previous top. And that's, by saying that, I mean this bit here. Boom. It's literally just there. If we go into the 1 hour chart, 1 hour on Superfarm, it's basically testing that right now, that point. Will that turn into support? Hopefully. It may come back down to as far as 147. So you could put your buy-in price at 148 just to make sure you get in. But it's a pretty good point to be in on this project because it's very low, it's very cheap. And even my target, just to go back here, I see this line I've put here, $2.07. That's my target for the next point once it pushes up. For this cup and handle, that's the target. $2 you could aim for, and then obviously from there anything's possible because it's NFTs related. These guys, they're well connected in the NFT world. They know what they're doing, and they value NFTs as if it's the Bible for some religious people. So you know, this is a great project, and you can go into his website and have a look. So definitely looking at investing in more Superfarm. I've got my bag full already with those. I'm stoked. I got in really low. Even though I bought in the ICO, which was roughly around this price anyway. So Veracity, another brilliant project coming back to retest the previous top. We're seeing a cup and handle formation here as well on a technical level. So TA is our friend here. The trend is our friend as well. So it's going up. We just need to find a point to buy in, of course. And in this case, this would have been a great point to buy in, which it's already hit it. My previous buy-in price, I missed out. So I sold out. I hold half my position, but then I sold to trade to buy more. Now it went up. I sold out. I picked the top to 5.5 cents, and then the pullback though I didn't quite get. I missed out by 0.1. I had a 0.38 pullback buy-in price, which would have been about here. So I missed out by a very tiny amount. I did log in and it was at 3.9, and at that point I had an intuition that would have been a good point to buy. What I should have done is scale my buy-in, so maybe 25%, 25%. Or 50% and 50%. So aim for a really low price, but buying when you see a good price. So in this case, I think the good price to buy, if it comes back to 5.5 cents, 5.6 cents, great, buy it back in. But my target is for Veracity, if we keep the uptrend going, let's have a look here, boom, straight up. It would have confluence with that 5.5 cents buy-in price. So you could put a buy-in order there, buy limit. And then again, my target is between 10 and 12 cents. for the short term with Veracity. When I say short term, I actually mean like 1 to 2 months. Yeah, that's looking good. So that's Veracity. XRP breaking out from the top. Great news. It's looking strong in the court case with the SEC. So I'd be looking, if you aren't already, to have, again, cup and handle formation, but I'd be looking at getting in on XRP. Here's our cup and handle formation. Bit roughly drawn, but you got the point, right? So there is an opportunity for it to keep going parabolic. Once this thing gets released from its chain and ball at the moment, we could see an easily $10 to $20 on the XRP front. Even though it's a 44, so if we did a 10x from $41 billion, that means it would be a $400 billion, which would keep it still in the second position in the coins of the marketplace. Obviously, Bitcoin being number one at 1.3 trillion Aussie dollars. Ethereum's at $616 billion. So it would flip Cardano. So XRP is currently fifth, but it would take out Cardano and BNB Binance. So you would be, still with under Ethereum, which was its previous position, third place. So nothing unrealistic there about that. So XRP, I think now is a really good time to buy it if you haven't already. I've already loaded my bags up down at the 40 cent mark, and we saw a good explosion and then a recorrection and then a massive pump. And so I think it's time that this thing takes off again. Theta and T-Fuel are the stars of today so far in my eyes, because they've been a little bit dormant. But if you look at the chart, it's not really too bad, because if you had bought in when I made that video where everything was rock bottom and I said, I think Bitcoin's going to make a triple bottom, therefore everything else will start to rebound. It was a $5 price for Theta. If you bought it then, you'd now be sitting at more than double, so 2.5x on your returns, which means it's $12.80 at the moment. My price target for Theta, which we need to take out, is the $14 mark. So I'd be aiming from here. There'll be a little bit of resistance because there was resistance all along here. And you can see there's some wicks that almost took us to 14 and pulled back. But I think the third time we might be, once we get to that point, we're ready to explode up, in my opinion. I do see the $20 mark for Theta being retested very soon. $20 Aussie, that is. If I could move the chart, we could see that. So that's the previous top there. I'll just do a line so you can see, and we'll change the color so we've got a nice strong green. We'll make it nice and thick. So we'd be aiming for this top here to be taken out. So $20. Once we take out that, it's price discovery. So anything can happen, and that's exciting times for Theta investors. If you're not staking Theta, you should be considering that. I do talk about all these different options in my consultations. If you haven't got someone to hold your hand or mentor or coach you in this, which we all need coaches in everything that we do if we want to be the best, or at least the best we can be. So I offer that opportunity at ccconsults@protonmail.com. So you can email me where you're at, say what you want to learn, and I'll get back to you and we'll book a consultation. And you can do that as long as I've got the time to book you in. So I've got a whole list of people to get into as soon as or get call back or contact once I have an opportunity to do that. So appointments are filling up, and yeah, opportunities for everybody at all sorts of levels. Whether you want to plan a portfolio, you want to know what to move your money around in, how to invest, how to trade, how to read charts, how to do TA, all sorts of weird and wonderful things, even how to log your data so come tax time it's easier. There's a lot of options, a lot of things to talk about, so reach out for that. Now, T-Fuel had a beautiful pump this morning, pulling back a little bit, as one should once you've had a bit of a recovery. It was at 45 cents and it went to 64 cents. So that's a pretty big jump. We'd be happy, so that's 30%. So it's pulling back now, which is great. And this is what you hope to see with a lot of charts, is a nice big pullback and then a continuation to the upside. We've got an uptrend going on here. I'd say if you're worried, you could put a stop loss in at, say, 56 cents. 56 cents here for the price. It's not to retrace if you want to really just sort of scalp the move. But most of us are all long-term investors in these projects because they're solid foundations. And if that's where you're at with your investing, great. You don't bother out putting the stop loss in there. You'd probably now raise it up to about 50 cents because we did a lot of sideways action here in the last few days, last week or so, and really we're due for a bit of a breakout. So that's good. And the last project that you really want to be looking at is having a bag of Polygon, which is called MATIC. You can see here on the right side, MATIC is its wording. Uptrend chart overall, again at the triple bottom of Bitcoin, I called this potentially bottom, and we did see a nice bounce back. If you bought in at the $1 mark, again you'd be looking at a 2.5x thereabouts profit return so far, but this thing could continue to keep going. It's got a good foundation project, and all of these projects I've spoken about you can check out on CoinGecko and click on. I did explain how to go about doing that in my last video, so check that out. And just lastly, I think an area of growth that's been growing massively is the DeFi sector. Nearly $190 billion tied up in DeFi, which is massive. So you can just see the exponential growth growing up. So have a look. There is a chart that shows you 1 to whatever it is, but the number one place is Chainlink. Why? Because DeFi relies on high-level, accurate data, and Chainlink's the king of the data oracles, and all exchanges will be needing that. There's quite a few oracles now from API 3. They should be listed on here because they're all relative to all the DeFi sector. So anyway, my favorite two are Chainlink, also called Link, and API 3. API 3's had a bit of a pullback today, so it's probably a good chance to buy on a red. I don't like buying on the green days. You know, I wouldn't be buying things like this on the up days. You know, that's just, you know, you want to see a little bit of red and then it's opportunity to buy. So yeah, DeFi space is looking healthy. Aave hasn't been doing much. A great project if you're not exposed to that. I've got the graph as well, but my portfolio really is solid in the Thetas and the Ethereums and the holochains, Veracities. I mean, all these projects I've mentioned, I've got something on, and I'm really just now enjoying the ride until I see some massive movements from Bitcoin to the upside. Then potentially I may close some of those, because generally when Bitcoin goes up, other altcoins, a lot of funding comes from those to invest into Bitcoin. And that's just the natural flow of the market. So Ethereum has been doing really good. Another big project, obviously. Ethereum and Cardano, if you're not in those, I'm not sure what you're doing, but in crypto, you really want to be exposed to those projects. And that's also part of Polygon, Ethereum, Cardano, and Polkadot. Massive projects, massive ecosystems. Oh, one more, which I'll call out today, is the Terra Luna. It seems to be pulling back nicely. If I can just get that chart up. For some reason, the internet's going a little bit slow where I am. Pullback price for Polygon was 160, between 160 and 170. If I can just go to Terra, here we go. Terra, it was at 43 cents. Terra is a great ecosystem as well. So if you're not exposed to Terra, you might want to consider doing that. Let's have a look what the charts are showing for Terra Luna. Yeah, must be really busy today. All right, so we've had a beautiful pullback from $48. Let's go into the daily chart. Yeah, so it's a massive uptrend still from $8 up to 44. So, you know, that's why we need to see these pullbacks. These corrections are healthy if you're exposed to it. So I sold a small portion of my Terra position, which gave me my whole initial investment money back, which is really a clever strategy. I've got many strategies like that. But the one thing you could be doing here is looking at potentially buying back in around the $40 mark or $41. So you could put a buy limit order in there. All right, I know that's enough from me. Remember to hook up your Pi apps, guys. CryptoConsciousness is your referral code so that you can get it. Otherwise, they won't let you use it. But that's good news, and anything free is always good. But just be careful of scammers and people contacting you. Do not do any of that. Send me an email if you're unsure. Send me a screenshot, whatever, but do not trust anyone with your seed phrase words. Yeah, there's a lot of scams out there. Even in the comments down below, people trying to get you to message them on WhatsApp. Don't do any of it. There's people who have replicated my account to say that they are me. Not sure what they say to you, but don't believe any of it. I won't direct message any of you guys. The only thing I will do is return your emails if you send it to that email address I mentioned above. Cool. Well, happy investing. That's it from me for today. Hope you have a good day. Bless you all and take care. Happy investing.